All right, everybody, what's going on? How y'all doing? Welcome to today's edition of Swag Talk, the show we cover the swag inside and out. I am your tour guide around the swag Seawells, and we are going to talk about the new move made by Alabama A&M. They have hired their coach, Coach Sam Shade from Miles College, formerly football player from the University of Alabama. We're going to talk about that hire and who he is and what I think is going to happen. So with that being said, man, y'all make sure y'all hit those socials: Facebook is Swag Talk, Instagram Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your thoughts on this move. This is a pretty solid move. I like it a lot. Just like the move PV made, I think getting guys that are successful on another level helps you. And this is another guy who won a conference championship, went to the playoffs, and so we're gonna talk about all of that. First and foremost, we'll go ahead and start it off with excuse me. We'll go ahead and start it off with basically the release from Alabama A&M. I always like to read that and give them the credit for the info. All right, and this is from the Alabama A&M athletic site. It says Alabama A&M University welcomes Sam Shade as the 22nd head coach of the in program history, announced by Director of Athletics Dr. Paul A. Bryant during a special edition of From the Hill podcast on Sunday night. Good show, y'all. Make sure y'all check that show out, man. I like it a lot. They got some good folks on there, so y'all make sure y'all rock with From the Hill. This is a new and exciting time to bring Coach Sam Shade to the Hill, Bryant said. He brings a wealth of knowledge and proven success to a program ready to thrive. His vast resources in the state and impeccable relationships with his team made him the perfect candidate for Alabama A&M University. Shade is a winner at every level, from the high school level to college, having led Pinson Valley High School to a state championship in 2020 and Miles College to the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference crown in 2024. Over the past 3 seasons at Miles, Shade has compiled an 18-15 record with a 15-7 mark inside the SIAC. In addition, his 2024 team won the conference title and reached the second round of the NCAA D2 playoffs, falling to top-ranked Valdosta State. So that was a swag matchup. We didn't know it at the time, but that was a swag coaching matchup in the second round of the D2 playoffs. In 2023, the Golden Bears finished 7-3, 6-2 in conference. That season included the program's first win over Division I FCS opponent, Alabama State. So if you're a Bulldog, this man already knows how to beat the Hornets. So you definitely can't go wrong with that. And a 9.2 average margin of victory. It was a marked improvement over his first season in Fairfield, where Miles went 1-9 and 1-5 in the SIAC Western Division. Shea came to Miles after spending 2 years as a head football coach at Pinson Valley High School, where he won Alabama High School Athletic Association Class 6A state championship in his first season in 2020. Prior to coaching, Shea played 8 years in the NFL for the Cincinnati Bengals from 95 to 98 and the Washington Redskins from 99 to 02. He was the Bengals' leading tackler in 97, while ranking second on the team in 98, and then he led the Redskins in 99. During his NFL career, his defensive coordinators included NFL Hall of Fame coach Dick LeBeau, as well as Mike Nolan, Ray Rose, and Marvin Lewis. In April of 2000, Shea received the Redskins Unsung Hero Award for commitment and community service involvement. Shea played collegiately at Alabama, where he was a member of the Crimson Tide's 1992 national championship team. It was named a team captain his senior year in 94. He was selected by the Bengals in the fourth round of the 95 draft. Following his retirement from the NFL, Shea began his coaching career as a volunteer coach at Briarwood Christian School in Birmingham, Alabama, from 04 to 08, before spending 8 years at Samford, coaching the secondary and special teams. He would then move on to Georgia State, where he coached cornerbacks His career would send him back to the NFL as an assistant special teams coach for the Cleveland Browns before returning home to coach at Pinson Valley. Shade is a Birmingham native who attended Winona High School, where he was the recipient of the prestigious Bryant Jordan Scholar Athlete Award given to the state's top student athlete. He earned his bachelor degree from Alabama in business administration and finance. So that's basically a blow by blow of who Coach Shade is, just in case you didn't know. Um, I know a lot of people, looking at his first year at Miles, he had a rough go over there, but he was able to kind of get it going. He was 1-9 his first year, 1-6 in conference, turn around and improve to 7-3 and 6-2 in conference. So that's a 6 game improvement in 1 year. And then he went from 7-3 to 10-3, 8-0 in conference, and he reached the D2 second round this past season. So basically, this was a program that kind of, that definitely made a nice rise, and that's something that you always look at from a coach. Can he win wherever he was? Can he win there? Was he able to handle adversity? And he did that. When you look at kind of what this team did this past season, they did open up losing their first 2 games to West Alabama by 1 point and Bama State 24-3. Then they would beat Lane 42-32, Allen 33-13. They beat Central State 16-7. Albany State, they would defeat the Rams 32-21. They beat Clark Atlanta, who was one of the hottest teams in the SIAC at that point. They beat them 49-28. Then they beat Benedict 26-14. They beat Morehouse 37-3, and they beat Tuskegee 37-7 before they matched up with Clark again in the SIAC championship, in which they defeated the Panthers by a score of 53-25. So they were able to get it done there. They beat Carson Newman in the first round of the playoffs 14-13 before they lost to Valdosta State 33-17. I like to kind of look at how a team improved under this coach. And I mean, obviously, a lot of this is due to his staff as well. But his first season at Miles, they averaged 13 points per game and they gave up 27. They averaged 105 yards on the ground that season, giving up 146. They averaged 133 through the air. 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. They gave up 204 through the air that season. 19 touchdowns allowed and only 5 interceptions. Total offense that season, they averaged 238 yards per game. That's just it doesn't matter what level that is. That's just not good offense. And they gave up 359 per game, 350 per game. Converted 28% on third downs. They gave up 20 sacks on the season, 29 sacks on the season. So they really just had a rough go of it. But then there was some improvement in 23. Not only did the record improve, the offense improved, going from 13 points per game to 30 points per game. The defense dropped down to 21 points per game allowed. The running game improved from 105 to 142 per game. The opponent's rushing attack dropped to 128 per game. The passing attack went crazy that season. 260 yards per game, had 24 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Opponents were at 229 yards that year per game, 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Total offense, 403 yards per game and 357 for the opponents. The third down rate improved to 37%. And they allowed 20 sacks that season and registered 28. So as you can see that was a marked improvement in 1 year. Then in his final season in 24, the scoring dropped by a couple points, dropped to 28.7, but the defense dropped down to 18 points per game. So basically that's almost a 10 or 11 point drop from his first season to his third season on defense. And this team was very good on defense, giving up 113 yards per game on the ground, allowing opponents to run for 3.4 yards per carry. And the running game for the Golden Bears was at 162 yards per game and 4.5 yards per carry. They scored 24 touchdowns on the ground, only giving up 11 on the ground. Defensively, the passing attack, that number dropped down to 186 yards per game. gave up 17 touchdowns, but had 24 interceptions. That is a crazy number. That's a very ball hawking defense, and that's something that you hope can translate over. The defensive prowess. You hope that can translate over for the Bulldogs. Their passing attack dropped down 176 yards per game. Offensively, this team wasn't as great as they were the year before, but they still were solid. Like I said, defense had 24 interceptions. They registered 36 sacks on the season. I mean, excuse me, they registered 43 sacks on the season. So they they just wreaked all kind of havoc on defense. Opponents only converted 28% on third downs, and that's just a testament to his staff and his guys, of course. But that was a testament to his staff. They had they had they had four guys with at least 6.5 sacks on the season, so they definitely were able to get it done there. They had one guy with 8 interceptions on the season, and they had four guys with at least 10.5 tackles for loss on defense. Um, and that's just impressive. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you look at it. That's really really impressive. So basically, to me, a coach like this is what it's kind of what you want. It's kind of similar to the move Prairie View made. You're getting a guy who is from the area. He's from the state. He coached in the state. He basically, other than coaching at Georgia State and coaching with the Browns for a little bit, his basically his coaching career has been in the state of Alabama, and that helps you build relationships. Um, he's gonna come with a nice track record. He's gonna come with some solid relationships, and I think this is a program and an athletic department that's totally committed to improving. And I think that this is a guy that can help you get there. You probably trading off some of the offensive um, prowess, I guess you could say, for a stronger defensive effort, at least mentality wise. And I thought that was the direction this team needed to go. I mean, offense can always, you can always take care of itself, but defensively, you really need somebody who can commit to playing solid defense, which is something the Bulldogs lacked in previous seasons. So I think as a whole, I think this is a very good move. I know it's not that flashy celebrity guy, but this is an NFL guy. He had a solid NFL career. He had success in the NFL. He coached in the NFL for a little bit. He coached on the FBS level. He coached on the FCS level. He coached on the D2 level. He coached at high school. He won at high school. He won a championship at high school. He won a conference championship at Miles. So he is a guy who can win. And I think coaching in the SWAC East is gonna be tough. You have Jackson State, who's probably gonna run it back. Bama State is gonna be tough again. FAMU is gonna be in the mix. So you don't want to fall too far behind that group of three, because the other two are in different stages of rebuild. So you don't really want to be stuck on that bottom half of the division, but you really need to have a solid foundation to compete at the top portion of the East. It's gonna be hard to make way in that, especially early. But this is a coach I trust that can get it done. But like I said, I think that if you're gonna get in that hunt for that East Division, you need a guy that's gonna be able to lock down your state, recruit your state, and just kind of build from there. I mean, you're in a great area in terms of football. You got basically the whole South region is loaded with talent. So why not be able to you know do what he do. Um, of course, I'm sure he probably bring a couple guys up from Miles with him. I know Miles has a lot of individual talent. Um, Southern's been blessed with a couple guys from Miles who've been very good. Of course, you see what South Carolina State did in the regular season under Coach Chennis Berry, with bringing in a lot of guys that knew him from Benedict, and they were able to put some things together and make a championship run. Not necessarily saying that A&M is going to, win the East in year one, but I do think that this team will be there. I mean, they were right. They weren't that far off this season, but it was. I think it was time for a change, and so that change was made, and now you have a new guy in charge. So I'm eagerly anticipating to see how he gets up there and how he handles, working the portal, working high school recruiting, the guys that he has returning. It's gonna be interesting to see, man. I'm looking forward to spring practice for A&M and Prairie View, for sure, because I want to see how both of those guys do. I think both of those teams got good hires, and so I think that we'll see how it turns out. But with that being said, man, I'm your tour guide around the Swag Seawells, signing out, and I will catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.